So, today we're going to get into a really big topic: India's farm laws. How did a set of reforms, which were supposed to modernize agriculture, end up sparking one of the largest protests the country has ever seen? To really get it, we have to pull back the layers on the system that's been running things for decades.
All right, let's just start with one number, a really big one: 58%.
And what does that number mean? Well, it's the percentage of India's massive population for whom farming is everything. It's not just a job, it's their main source of income, their way of life. It is absolutely woven into the fabric of the country. So that leads to a really big question, right? If so many people depend on agriculture, why do we constantly hear that it's in an agrarian crisis? Why are so many farmers struggling to make a living? To figure that out, we've got to look at the system that's been in place for a long, long time. Okay, so to get what's happening now, we have to go back. For, more than 70 years, Indian farming has operated inside this really complex safety net. It wasn't just one single policy, but a whole system built up piece by piece over time. And this is fascinating, because when you look at this timeline, you're not just seeing farm policy, you're actually seeing the story of modern India itself. Right after independence, it was all about the basics, just trying to feed everyone. Then you get the huge tech push of the Green Revolution, and once there's more food, the focus starts to shift to different kinds of products, and eventually to reforming the markets. This evolution created the three main pillars that held up the whole system. So, pillar number one, the Essential Commodities Act. You can think of this as the government's emergency brake. It gave them the power to step in, control supply, and manage prices of essential goods to stop people from hoarding and make sure food was affordable for everyone. Next up, you have the APMC Acts. Basically, these laws set up special, state-regulated wholesale markets. You might have heard of them. They're called mandis. And for a long time, for most farmers, selling their crops in these regulated markets wasn't just an option. It was a requirement. It was designed to protect them. And the third big piece is the MSP, the minimum support price. This is basically a price guarantee from the government for certain key crops. If the market price falls too low, the government promises to buy from farmers at that minimum price. But, and this is a really important but, the sources point out this safety net really only worked well for a couple of crops, like wheat and rice, and mostly just in a few states. So you've got this system, right? Built up piece by piece over generations. And then, bam! In 2020, everything gets shaken up. A series of new farm acts were passed that aimed to totally rewrite the rules of the game. And this chart, this is really the core of the whole thing. It shows you the before and after. On one side, the old rules. You sell in the regulated Monday. On the other, the new rules. You can sell to basically anyone, anywhere. It also set up a national system for contract farming, so farmers could lock in a price before they even planted a seed. And it eased up on those government stock limits we talked about, unless there was a huge crisis. Now, you'd think more choice, more freedom, right? But that's not how it was seen by many farmers. The government called it modernization, but for the farmers, well, it sparked fear. As this quote here shows, there was this deep worry that opening the doors to big private companies would just lead to exploitation, and that the old safety nets would disappear. So why all the fear? I mean, what's so scary about these changes? To really get it, we need to follow the food. Let's look at the actual journey from the farm to, well, to your plate. And trust me, it is a crowded path. At first glance, it seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it? The farmer grows it, sells it, it goes to a wholesaler, then a retailer, and then to us. Simple. But yeah, that's just the simplified version. The reality is this incredibly complex web of people often just lumps together as middlemen, but that word doesn't really do it justice. You've got all these different players: merchants who buy and sell, agents who broker deals, speculators, processors who turn the raw goods into products, and then a whole bunch of facilitators, the transporters, the weighmen, everyone who makes the system actually move. Every single one has a specific job in this giant logistical puzzle. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. With all this complexity, all these different people involved, why does this system matter so much? Why is getting it right such a big deal? Well, It turns out the stakes are way, way higher than just what we pay for our food. Because when this system works well, it's like a powerful engine for the whole country. Look at this. It's not just about one thing. A huge chunk of the benefit is a direct increase in what farmers earn. Then you have all the jobs it creates in things like transport and food processing. It spurs the growth of other industries. It widens markets. I mean, you can see how everything is connected. And that leaves us right here with the absolute core question at the heart of this entire debate. It's the tightrope India is trying to walk. How do you bring the markets into the 21st century to help farmers earn more, while at the same time making sure you don't endanger the livelihoods of that 58%, the hundreds of millions of people who depend on it just to survive? There's no simple answer here, but, understanding all the pieces, that's the first step.